And now, is there more fallout to come over the September 11th attacks in Benghazi? Republicans say the investigation isn't over, despite yesterday's congressional testimony from what they call whistleblowers. So what more are they looking for? Former Arkansas governor and one-time GOP presidential candidate Mike Huckabee made a suggestion on his radio show this week.
I believe that before it's all over, this president will not fill out his full term. I know that puts me on a limb, but this is not minor. It wasn't minor when Richard Nixon lied to the American people and worked within those in his administration to cover up what really happened in Watergate.
Do other Republicans agree with that view? Earlier, I spoke to Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, and I asked him that question. Now, he told me, and I'm going to quote Rand Paul, "We need more information to make any kind of determination." And here's what else he said.
Well, you know, I've always been more concerned that the mistakes were made leading up to this, you know, about security or lack of security. You know, when the ambassador asked for more security and it was denied by Secretary Clinton, I've always thought that was the most egregious part of this. I never have quite understood the cover-up or if it was intentional or incompetence, but something went on. I mean, they had talking points that they were trying to make it out to be about a movie when everybody seemed to be on the ground telling them it had nothing to do with the movie. I don't know if this was for political reasons. I've always actually suspected, although I have no evidence, that maybe we were facilitating arms leaving Libya, going through Turkey into Syria. In the week preceding this, the New York Times has reported that there was a Turkish ship taking Libyan arms and giving them to Syrians. And they've interviewed the commander of the boat, the captain of the boat, talked about the supplies. I don't know. Were they trying to obscure that there was an arms operation going on at the CIA annex? I'm not sure exactly what was going on, but I think the questions ought to be asked and answered. And I am a little curious when employees of the State Department are told by government officials they shouldn't testify, and then they're sort of sequestered and kept away from testimony. So I think there may be more to this.
And Senator, I know you're saying, look, you don't have proof of whether the United States was involved in some sort of arms dealing in this situation between Libya and Syria. But I mean, and that's speculation, as you freely admitted yourself. But isn't that part of the problem here, that there's so much speculation? I mean, are we ever going to know?
You know, I think one thing we do know, and we know with absolute certainty, is that the ambassador, Colonel Wood, multiple people within the embassy in Libya were asking for help. They were asking for security in the 6 months preceding the attack. And we do know that Secretary Clinton didn't read the cables and didn't provide the security. And that's without question a dereliction of duty.
And I'm curious when it comes to finding who is, if there is someone to blame, who that is. Obviously, you've mentioned Hillary Clinton, and here's what you said last week about her specifically.
I think that her dereliction of duty, I don't question her motives, but her dereliction of duty and her lack of leadership should preclude her from ever holding any office.
Obviously, of course, that was you. She's been widely talked about, right? I mean, and if she wants the nomination, I mean, things can change a lot, but right now it would certainly be hers if she wanted it. It's no secret that you could be running. Are you doing a preemptive attack against her? I'm asking this only because if you look at what was happening in Libya, it was some sort of a CIA outpost. Wouldn't it be David Petraeus who you'd be going after?
Well, the thing is that the security for the mission was the State Department's job. She was asked specifically for more security. She told us in our committee she never read the cables. I find that inexcusable. Libya is one of the 5 most dangerous places on the planet, probably. And if your ambassador's asking for more security and you don't read the cables and then you respond and say, we don't have any security to give you, that is a really, you know, it is a dereliction of duty. And person who made that decision should never be in place or in a position to make that decision again. I stand by that.
And so in your view, you don't believe that any of this is political? I mean, if it's not political, what is the goal of what needs to come out of this, right? Because the goal would be, to your point, if there were mistakes made leading in, that they are never made again.
Exactly. And
as opposed to just finding out you're to blame and I'm going to get you, right?
Well, the thing is that when President Bill Clinton was in office, we had a tragedy in Mogadishu. they also had asked for protection and defense, and they asked Les Aspin for more armed personnel. He denied it, and he resigned because of it. He ultimately resigned and said he had made a mistake. Hillary Clinton's decision not to send more security to Benghazi is, to me, very analogous to what happened when Les Aspin denied security for those in Mogadishu.